Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about the 5 best girls in anime 68. We have the list here for you that will blow your mind. We have the list of all lists. We've got Listomania. We've got some Umberco Eco stuff going on here today, and I can't wait to share it all with you. This was an absolutely phenomenal season. The twists and turns it took blew us all away, leaving us shocked every week at the new things that happened, from the Vietnam War to the scandals, all of it coming to a head in one of the most stunning season finales we have ever seen in our lives. But let's not dawdle on this fantastic season. Let's count down the top 5 best girls this season. Coming in at number 5, we have Eugene McCarthy. Eugene was the first one we were introduced to, one of the earliest characters we got to know. He was an absolutely phenomenal girl this season, with his lovely peace-loving attitude, as well as his occasional dry wit and his love for young people. Eugene was a phenomenal girl this season, and I think quite a few of us were rooting for him. His biggest flaw, I feel, was that he essentially stuck to his one note and really couldn't advance beyond that. He had a fantastic debut, but really couldn't go beyond that. But nevertheless, still an absolutely incredible competitor, and I absolutely adored him this season. Coming in at number 4, we have Nixon Rockefeller. Nixon was an absolutely brilliant move to bring in. An old rival of the true best girl of this season, Nixon was able to bring a sort of charm and wit that was desperately lacking later in the season. Nixon was absolutely phenomenal with his money ways and his just sheer audacity, such as at the convention where he and his good friend Reagan's son attempted to stab and kill their rival. It was an absolutely brilliant move by the show, introducing him at the late point, really adding the flavor the final episodes needed to make this a brilliant show that it ended up being. At number 3, we have Robert F. Bobby Kennedy. Bobby was an absolutely phenomenal competitor, an early fan favorite whose reluctance to really take a part in the show was only matched by the exceptionalism he demonstrated once he finally took part. His speech after the death of Martin Luther King Jr.'s son was absolutely phenomenal, and I think blew all of us away. And his eventual fate that's revealed in the mid-season finale left so many jaws dropped they had to hire in a cleaning lady to collect them. That's how many jaws dropped at Bobby's final fate, and I can tell you with some sincerity, I shed a few tears myself when I was watching that episode. A brilliant competitor who has sadly ended his time too quickly. At number 2, we have Hubert Humphrey. Hubert was an absolutely brilliant story. So many of us started the season off hating Hubert due to his ties with Nixon Son. However, Hubert eventually redeemed himself, proving himself his own man, and even though he eventually lost, he fought so hard and came so close. I think all of us were rooting for him just a little bit in the end to finally have the success he'd been so long promised. However, he couldn't have won because there is only number 1, and that number 1 we shall talk about now. It is time to discuss the best girl this season. At number 1, we have the best girl, Nixon Son. Nixon Son was an absolutely phenomenal story. His starting off with reluctance, but eventually, through hard work and determination, gaining the nomination near the mid-season finale, and eventually going on. The death of Ike-san halfway through was, of course, a tragic move, but it was really necessary for him to assert his own independence, for Nixon Son to become his own man, and his eventual winning was simply, it's what we've all been longing for. His comeback was complete. He had proven failure was not an option for him, and that is why Nixon Son wins the title of Best Girl for this season. It was an absolutely phenomenal season, no matter who you were rooting for. Every competitor was simply fantastic, and it was brilliant. I can't wait for next season, where we're going to be introduced to a new rival for Nixon Son, McGovern's son. I can't wait to see how that goes. And so, until next time, I am respectfully yours, Son. Farewell.